Hi babes, it's me, Tia, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Final FronTia. Now on this week's episode, it's a family affair. She's my drag granddaughter. She is the star, in my opinion, of Drag Race UK Series 6. She's a runway queen, a poet, and a burlesque artiste. It's Marmalade. Marmalade, hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to my home.
Thank you. It's a little bit different than when I was here before.
It is, well, we're visions in white.
Oh, you've painted, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Why didn't you tell me you were wearing white?
Why didn't you tell me you were wearing white?
To be fair, it's on both of us.
Yeah, it really is, but at least we match.
I know. I'm actually really glad. I walked in and you were sat there and I was like, you know what, I'm actually glad I chose this now.
It's a family trait.
It is.
We're wearing white in celebration of everyone who voted for Donald Trump.
Stop. Too soon.
It's a gag, isn't it?
I wish I could say it was a gag.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, it's not a gag.
I wish I could say I woke up and I was surprised. It's just depressing, isn't it?
It is. And what a way for me to introduce you onto this podcast.
Fierce drag.
Depression. Thank you for joining me here on the Final FronTia.
Thank you for having me.
This is a space where we talk a lot about fandoms and things that we enjoy. And I think the first fandom that we need to address is the fact that you are on Drag Race UK Season 6. Snaps for Marmalade. Everyone.
I am. Currently, at time of filming, we are just past episode 6.
Yes. At time of release, I feel like we're on episode 9.
Okay.
So I don't know what happens, but I hope you're still in it.
I hope so too, and I can neither confirm nor deny. However, you at home shall hopefully know.
Yeah,
true. Yes.
How was it filming? Exciting? Fun?
You know what? As you know, I have helped so many people get ready for this show. I have helped...
Myself included.
You, I've helped Vic, I've helped other people. And so I feel like at this point, I knew what it was.
Yeah.
And I got that, and I was quite surprised by how much I was sort of like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I expected. I feel like everyone goes in and they have some story about how, oh my God, it was completely different. I sort of got that and I was like, yeah, this is what I thought it was going to be.
I guess you've heard so many of us talk about different people, even members of the Queen team. You must have been like, "Oh, you're Lucy."
Oh yeah. I was like, "Oh, Wendy, babe, how are you?" I was your husband. I knew. But it's almost. I think as well beforehand, I'd built it up in my head. It is going to be so. I am an overthinker, and I stress myself out. That I built myself up to this absolute worst possible thing. That when I got there, I was like, "Oh, it's not that. It's actually much easier than I thought."
That's interesting.
When you're doing well, it's much easier. No, I'm so far. I've been very lucky to have had a lot of lovely critiques and stuff. So I'm very pleased with it so far.
It is a different experience. As someone who has gone through it once, doing terribly, and once
do terribly,
pretty badly, and then once doing quite well, it does feel like a very different experience. So the critiques as they have been up to this point, episode 6, for me, in this moment, in the past where we are, you've done brilliantly.
I've been in the top 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
I was low once, but we don't talk about that because I don't agree.
Well, that was weird. I think it's such a strong cast of people. Even for the Snatch Game episode, Octavia was low, but I was like, Michael Jackson Welsh Dragon was Cam.
I think they could have just done a bottom 2 for that.
Yeah.
I don't think there always needs to be a top 3, bottom 3. If there's just 2, just let them be 2.
Just let it happen.
Let it be 2.
I think also the wild thing about that whole Snatch Game episode as well is that it was incredibly strong, but I have a nervousness. And this, for me, I'm talking to you, but it's also a PSA to everyone watching. I don't want that Snatch Game to start a trend of people going, do you know what? I'll be Miriam Margolyes as a jacket potato who's also auditioning for the role of Annie on Broadway.
Yeah.
I think it worked once. Let's leave it there.
No, I agree. I think as well, what was so great about Chara is, first of all, it was a surprise, but also she had a storyline to it. She had a story arc of I'm going for this role, I got this role, I don't have this role, I'm moving on. It was a full-on story, which made it great, and it was thought out. And I think the worry is that someone's now going to go, oh, that worked. Let me do a half-baked. I'm these two because it's funny. And then you got Release. So I still think Release was trying to figure out what character she played.
Rihanna as Sammy as Rihanna.
Yeah, I think she was... my understanding was that she was Rihanna's stalker.
Sammy was stalking Rihanna instead of Alan Carr?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah, that did not come across for me.
It did not. Bless her. But honestly, it was a really strong Snatch Game. I was like sat in that first position. And the way it's filmed, as you know, when they edit it, they sort of bounce around with who's answering, but you go down the line. So I answered first every single question.
Yeah.
And I got a big laugh every single question. I'd be like, oh, I'm about to win Snatch Game. This is crazy. And then by the time I got to the end, I was sat there like, I bloody hope I'm safe. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And it was, because it was just so strong. It was so good. And like, you can't hear it at home, but the crew was absolutely laughing so much, which was a big surprise because I thought it would just be Ru. But yeah.
Can't relate to that one. But I was in the first seat in my original Snatch Game. You're basically the warm-up act.
Oh, yes, you were. That's right. It's hard because you don't have the same amount of time to think of the answers.
No, and you don't have anything to bounce off of from previous people.
Exactly.
It's a very hard seat to be in.
But I felt, at least for me, because Lil was playing Queen Victoria and she did very well, and we both had sort of a similar sort of old royal characters. I was sort of like, okay, I'm glad I came before her, so she's not saying a joke that I'm sort of maybe was going to say, or there's not going to be any mix-up there. So I appreciated it in that sense that I could get my joke out and go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard seat to be in. You're totally right. I think you did really well. Like, it was such a strong Snatch Game.
I was pleased.
Did you have any backup characters?
Who was my backup? I was going to do Lucille Ball.
Oh, I see that for you.
They asked for 3 options. I was told I wasn't allowed to bring my 3rd option to set.
Why do we have so much in common?
I was going to do Jesus Christ.
And they said no to that?
They said it just might be a bit offensive.
Okay.
So I just used my Jesus Christ jokes the episode before in the Graham Norton show, if you noticed.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense.
And I was just going to do my boy hair. And then I think the other backup, I think I brought like Mother Nature, I think it was my but there was no way I was going to do that.
No, too quirky.
Yeah.
I will tell you after the filming who I think I've already told you who I auditioned for season 2 with.
You have, and it's escaping me.
I will not say it here because, but they told me you can't bring that with you. It's not an option. It can't happen. So I relate to that very strongly.
Yeah. So some people's options for their audition tapes are wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, there's been a few that I'm like, that's suspicious that you thought to do that.
I think the goal is to be like shocking, but also show them something you can actually do. Show them something they can use.
Well, that's why I did the one that I did. My 2 auditions, one of mine I did Leah Remini, who's like Michelle Visage's best friend.
Yes.
But it's because I'm fascinated by Scientology. So I was like, that's camp. I'm going to do ex-Scientologist Leah Remini.
Love.
And then my other one was another thing that I'm like really obsessed with, like conspiracies about.
Right.
And if I ever, on the off chance that I manage to get on a US season, I will be doing that character.
So that's a surprise. That's a secret for now.
Yeah, I think so. But I will tell you immediately after we finish.
Perfect.
Enough about me. Let's get back to you.
Enough about you.
We've done Drag Race. What shows are you sort of obsessed with? We've got like people who love watching Drag Race. You've met loads of them now, I'm sure. But what is like your fandom?
Here's the thing. With me growing up, I couldn't just like something.
Okay.
I had to be absolutely have the costume, have the pencil case, eat, sleep, breathe this fandom.
Neurodivergent.
And for me, it has always been the Hunger Games.
Work.
My mum at first didn't let me read the books because she said it's too violent. It's children killing themselves or killing each other, I should say. And eventually she caved, and I like absolutely fell in love. And it was, I think the first film had just come out, and I like read all the books in a matter of months. And then the second film was about to come out. And this is so horrible. My poor mum, I was like 13, and it was like a school night, and I was like, I need to go to the midnight premiere tonight. I need to see the first screening of Catching Fire tonight. And my mother, with a hot water bottle and a blanket, took me to the cinema, had a nap while I watched it.
That's love.
And then she did it for the next 3 years, for the next 3 films. And then the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes that's just come out, I dragged my housemates to the cinema at midnight. And now there's another film coming out, a 5th one. Have you heard about this?
Oh, yeah.
About Haymitch. And I'll be doing the same thing. I had like a Mockingjay pin. I don't know why I couldn't just like it. I had to know every word, and I had to like it the most.
I see that.
I couldn't know someone that knew more than me. I had to know all the knowledge.
I'm like really gutted now on Versus the World. I literally did a Mockingjay reference and I should have got you to make it.
I would have died to make that. I need to do, now that I think about it, a lot of like my fashion sense, like thinking back to what I've worn on the season so far, there is like a certain like capital, opulent.
Oh yeah.
Sort of ridiculous sort of influence to it. And I'm thinking back now, I've never done like a Hunger Games look.
But you are sort of doing it.
But I've never, yeah.
Your drag name should have been Effie Twinkit.
Stop it. That is
There's still time.
There's still time.
There's still time.
There's still time. Me coming back for Versus.
Yeah.
Changing my name. Do not give me any ideas.
We should put a whole like Hunger Games show together.
We should.
I'll be Rue, but in a bald cap and glasses and a suit as RuPaul.
Oh my God, yes.
You can be Effie.
Yes. Who's everyone else? Who have we got? Who can we call on?
I'm also obsessed with the Hunger Games, and I used to write the pantos for the Two Brewers.
Oh yes.
And just before I got on Drag Race, the next panto was going to be the Hunger Gays, which they've now done.
They've done now, haven't they?
And I was going to cast myself as Blackness Everqueen.
Stop it.
Yeah. So there's still time for us to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
We could bring it back.
Absolutely. But yeah, do you know what I always didn't like about the films?
Okay.
I mean, it feels weird to now jump onto what I didn't like. And I guess it was the same with because I was like a young adult reader, like Divergent, all of it. Like I like got into it.
Okay.
I hated, and this might be controversial, I hated like the love triangles. I hated the Team Peter or Team Gail.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Team Edward, Team...
Yeah.
What's the other one called? Jacob.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Call me a feminist. I want to know what she's doing.
I agree.
It's at the start of the second film, and she's about to go on the Victor's tour.
Mm-hmm.
And Gail's like, do you still love me? And I'm like, she has just survived the Hunger Games.
Yeah. She nearly died 83 times.
And the only way she survived is because she's, at least at this point, pretending to be in love with this boy.
Yeah.
She has just told you that President Snow has come and threatened her life, your life, and his life, and you're saying, oh, why don't you give me a kiss? Get lost.
Get a grip.
Get lost. Like, get real. It's so annoying. Like, perspective. I'm like, are you serious?
No, that's so true. And his trajectory as well is like literally, he's basically responsible for like killing Katniss's little sister.
Yeah.
So like her protecting Prim in the beginning and like being in love with Gail, who by the way is really boring.
Yeah.
Like Peter can paint himself to look like a rock. That's cool.
And also, do you know in the book they kind of allude to the fact that they're like related?
Well, they all must be because they're like ghettoized into these areas.
But they like really hinted. I was rereading it, I hadn't noticed, and I was like,
yeah.
Okay. But also, I'm not letting Peter off the hook either, because when they went on the Victor's tour, I remember they kissed, and he was like, it's almost like that kiss was real. I'm like, she is keeping you alive.
Yeah, single-handedly.
She is how much more could she love you? She's 16. Let her be.
Let her live.
Let her do her GCSEs and not get killed. How about that? How about that?
I wonder if they have any education system in Pan Am. I haven't read the books, so I don't know.
They do. They go to school because Peter used to watch Katniss walk home from school every day.
Oh my God, you're so right.
Yeah.
That is a thing.
I'm right. It's to the point, if my housemate is watching the film, if there's one line said, I know which film, and I know exactly what's going on. And it could be the most simple line. I can sit there and I actually watched it this week, and I was doing my makeup and I was just reciting the script in the same intonations, everything. And my housemate came in and went, "You're a psychopath." And I was like, I know. I
want to see you perform a lip sync that seems like you're just doing like a Hunger Games lip sync, but then an hour and 45 minutes later, you've actually done the whole film.
I need to do that. Do you know how like Rocky Horror, you'll go to a Rocky Horror screening and they'll perform it and it'll be on the screen behind. Mm-hmm. I need to do that. Me, Hunger Games, different wigs, every part. Okay,
I see it.
Every part. All 24 tributes.
Out of all the other tributes across the films, ignoring Katniss, Peter, who's your fave?
Oh, who's my fave? I always really loved Thrash because I thought the way he had respect for Rue, didn't then kill Katniss. I always loved him.
Yeah. Not a wise choice in retrospect.
No,
but
I always loved Finnick. Okay, this might just be a list of the ones that I'd shag.
Honestly valid.
Joanna, love Love.
Yeah.
Love.
She's quite intense, but like...
Do you know what I love? She is like the perfect like young adult character. There was like a point in the second film, I can't remember if it's in the book, where she's like in the arena and she goes, what if we burn down your house, President Snow? And everyone's shocked that she said it. And she goes, what? You can't hurt me. There's no one left I love. Oh,
love that.
So cringe.
Do you know?
Cringe. Love it.
Very, very specific thing to say, but for some reason with her, I've always had it in my head that she is who Monica from Friends would have been had she lived in a post-apocalyptic reality. And I don't know why that makes total sense to me.
Had she like fully snapped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly who she is to me.
No, I see that. They do look alike. And it was when walking into that elevator, taking her outfit off, saying, how does it feel that the whole world wants to sleep with you? Then Katniss going to speak on her and saying, not you. And walking out. Oh, are you joking?
Very
Oh, are you joking? It's, love her.
So in terms of the wider like YA genre, like firstly I have to ask you what happens at the end of the Divergent series because they never made that final film and I haven't read the books.
Do you not know?
I have no idea what happens at the end.
This is like a huge spoiler.
They just left me hanging.
Do you want to actually know?
Yeah, because they're not going to make that TV series.
Okay, this is a huge spoiler. Skip ahead 10 seconds if you're gonna watch it, whatever. She dies. Triss dies. I'm not joking. I'm not doing a bit. The last book, it's all written from her perspective, but the last book is split between her and Tobias's. It, like each chapter bounces back and forth, and she dies at the end of the book.
Doing what? Saving the world, surely.
I actually can't remember. That was I don't think I ever reread Divergent. And I was they were sort of like Hunger Games and Divergent had like a rivalry, and so I was Camp Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It mattered to me. I have a feeling she was in some sort of like room and like she asphyxiated or something. Like, I don't know why that's in my head.
But like she freed Chicago and now everyone's Divergent. Like something.
She saved the world.
Yeah, classic.
She died, and that was the big gag of Divergent. That like the main character from which the perspective from which the story is told, she dies.
That's wild.
Because I remember the first film, Divergent. That first film was like a masterclass in how you do like an adaptation of a book to a film. It was like perfectly done. And then the second the trailer came out for the second film, everyone clicked off because they got comfortable.
Yeah.
And the second film, they had like introduced like this box. It was just nothing to do with the book.
Yeah.
And, like, they thought they had a big enough fan base that they could do that.
They did not.
Which you do not. Whereas Hunger Games, the first film isn't as close. It's good, but it's not as close. And they realized, and then from the second film onwards, they got super on the detail because they knew who their fans were and they knew who were watching. I will say Catching Fire is the best book to film adaptation there is.
Oh my God, that's so specific.
That they fit all of that plot into a 2-hour film, which was a full pre-plot about this tour, about the start of an uprising, this romance, and then a full-on Hunger Games, but not only Hunger Games All-Stars, Hunger Games All-Winners, into a 2-hour film, and it not feel rushed or overcrowded is crazy. It's my favorite film ever. I still watch that film and think, how have they done this? And it is fantastic.
Not Hunger Games All-Winners.
Yeah.
So Jinx Monsoon is Candice Everdeen.
Yeah. I saw a tweet and it was a picture of, do you remember Mags, the old woman from District 4?
Yeah.
It was just a picture of her and it just said, she flopped on All Stars. And it really made me laugh.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
she kind of did.
No, she was iconic. She sacrificed herself.
Oh, I know.
For her friends, she Ben de la Creme herself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm going home. Did you watch Agatha All Along?
I haven't. Don't hate me.
Well, Mags is very Lilia coded. And
okay.
When you watch Agatha All Along, you'll
Is that a film or a TV show?
TV show.
Okay.
Marvel TV series.
Okay.
Joe Locke from Heartstopper, iconic.
Okay.
You'd like it.
I watched one episode once.
It feels very YA energy.
Okay, because even now, my favorite literature is a good like 14 to 16-year-old sort of like dystopian. Oh my God, that's my favorite. But
For, like a YA book is your favorite?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do expand now. I read all sorts when I get time, but that will always be like my comfort go-to, and it's because it's like easy to read, easy to understand. It's sort of formulaic, and it's sort of I like dystopian where it's not necessarily magic and not necessarily fairies and superpowers, but it's like real life, but it's a version of the world that we don't live in.
Are you familiar with Uglies?
Yes, They just made a film adaptation.
Yeah, it's bad.
And it was, okay, I was going to say it wasn't very good, but I didn't want to.
No, I'll say it. It was bad.
Yeah, it was not very good.
It was wild. And there's a second one. They're doing a second one.
You know what? Do you know what's funny about that film? I watched it with a friend. Mm-hmm. And we got about halfway in. We shagged. And then there was about, I don't know if I can say that, but we shagged. And then there was about 20 minutes left and we sat and watched it, having missed an hour of the film. And I still knew exactly what was going on. It was like that, like typical of a storyline. Yeah. But like, that's how like that film, I was like, I feel like maybe I shouldn't have said that. Like,
no, it's calm. It's calm.
I am a gay man that has sex. Sorry, Mum. But yes.
By Mum, you mean Victoria Scott.
Yeah, sorry, Vic. Do you know what's so funny with her? Like, hard pivot. Mm-hmm. I remember once I was talking to someone about like a hookup or whatever.
Yeah.
And she fully turned to me and went, "You're going to have to stop. This is weird." As like a mother figure. Like, she is genuinely like a mother figure. To the point where she's like, "You can't talk about sex with me in the room. That feels weird."
Very valid, though.
And it's funny things like that where I go, God, what a weird relationship we've just created out of thin air.
Well, someone defining their boundaries is like very slay, but also like it is very made up, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas I feel like you're like the cool nan I can shoot the shit with on that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, fair.
Yeah.
But I'll keep it very demure, very cutesy.
Yeah,
I don't share mine. But you talk about who you finger blasted. You live your life. I actually said that in an Uber on the way here.
To who?
I was on the phone and I was like, "Go get finger blasted, girl." And the Uber driver looked in the rearview mirror and I was like, "I'm so sorry. I already have a really low Uber rating because I turn up dressed in drag half the time and people are offended by this, so please don't."
So me and Vic were in a car that was taking us to the Welsh BAFTAs because we hosted an award there.
You looked great, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. Don't say anything about Vic. Okay. No, but I had just come back from Gran Canaria.
Yes.
It was it was winter warmer / fetish week. So
this story has already started.
Whilst I did not indulge in anything. I was a full on like nun when I was there. I had a great time. But I saw some things, and I was explaining the things that I saw. And I got out the taxi and realized, oh, there was a driver in there.
Yeah.
This like poor straight man who would listen to all those stories and went, "We're here," right at the end. And even those stories I don't think are appropriate for this. I'll have to tell you afterwards. But yeah, anyway, Hunger Games.
Yeah, no, back to the Hunger Games. No, I fully understand the fascination, but I do think there is something like inherently queer about like these young adult stories, because it's almost exclusively a female lead who doesn't know their own strength and has to rise and then suddenly can triumph in the face of a very patriarchal society.
Absolutely. It's like the parallels specifically with something like Hunger Games. It's like people joke, but we live in the Hunger Games every day. Like, it's actually quite scary when you look at some political systems where something like that is actually not too far off the sort of laws they're pushing now.
Oh, yeah. And, like, this has been around, like, The Handmaid's Tale, The Hunger Games. All these things were designed. Even Russell T Davies made a series called Years and Years. All these things were designed to serve as a warning.
Yes.
And we watched it and we went, oh, wow, that could never happen. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is back in power as if he's not the President Snow of drag. Why was that automatic to come out of my mouth? The President Snow of, like, modern times. Yeah, you are so right. It's so crazy. Everyone ignores the warning signs. We're probably about to have lots of things overturned in the United States that will make it dangerous for people to, even more dangerous for people to live there. And it's not fun. And they're becoming, sorry for this monologue, it's becoming, you know, back in the day, people used to be like, oh, maybe I'll move to Canada, as if that was like also safe. No, we're getting into very dangerous times everywhere across the globe. I don't know where I'm going to run and hide. I did find a website where you can buy private islands with no infrastructure for not that much money. Oh. So I was like, maybe I'll get like 20 of us together and we'll work out how to do plumbing.
I could do that. I could dig a hole. That's fine.
No, you bring it. We'd have to get electricity so you can like make clothes so we don't have to import them.
Oh, yes. That'd be your thing. One of those, like, what are those boards where you like, and you like make the fabric?
Battleships. I don't know. Is that what you're playing right now?
No, it's like I don't know the name of it. There's no point.
A loom?
Yes,
weaving?
Something like that. I could like weave fabric and hand sew and I
don't know anyone who could like make a functioning toilet work on an island with no plumbing though. I don't want to poop in a hole.
I stayed in a jungle in Malaysia like when I was 16.
Casual.
I went there for a month and we stayed in a jungle for 3 days. And they went tarpaulin around like a hole. And they went, that's where you do a number 2.
Not for me.
And I tell you, I didn't for 3 days. I went, no. And then when I got back, bloody hell. I was not constipated. It was sheer will that I was like, that's not about me, babe.
It just fell out.
Yeah.
So I keep staring. If you are just listening to this, you cannot see, but I keep staring at how perfect your eyebrows are.
Oh, stop it.
It's like really distracting me from the conversation.
I just came from the Paddington premiere and I like did my eyebrows so wonky. I don't think it shows in the pictures. Don't go and look. But all the pictures, I was like, don't look at me straight on. Woo.
Well, that's the thing. Producer Poppy has now changed the angles that we normally film this podcast at. And usually I have the blessing of only really being seen from one side, so no one can clock. But you can't really see my eyebrows today because I experimented. But
I was saying, they almost look faded, but they're like nice. I like it. Like you've got eyebrows, but I think it's like matching the wig. I don't know. It looks really pretty.
Tried to do like a ginger ombre moment, but I've gone too dark at the ends and not blended it in enough.
I'll watch it back and I'll text you. But
yeah, after editor Richard whacks on the filter, there's going to be no eyebrow. You're just going to see brown bits at the end.
Oh, perfect.
Don't take the filter off though, thank you.
Perfect. I don't even want to be able to see my face.
No, it's just season 1 US Drag Race blur.
Yeah. Oh, please.
That's the dream. Marmalade, you would not believe this, but producer Poppy is looming in the background, which means we've actually come to the end.
What?
Of the episode. Yeah, we've been talking for a while, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah, we've just been having a nice chat.
Oh, damn, I didn't even get to ask you about what you thought about my Doctor Who runway.
Oh, before we do this, let's talk about your Doctor Who runway. It was the best one of the episode, hands down.
Thank you. I agree.
I've spoken about it at length with a lot of people. You can see the thought process that you are Lady of the Time Lords. You said that you started Gallifrey, but
I know that doesn't actually make sense, but
in your version of reality, you're not Tecteun from the Flux series. You are your own version of the founder of Gallifrey. I got like a drag regeneration of Rassilon, leader of the Time Lords. It was very that. I thought it was an interesting set of runways. As a big Doctor Who fan, I'll be honest, some of them offended me.
My worries, I don't know. I've watched it, but I don't know it super well. It always terrified me. But I saw that list and I was like, I cannot let Tia down. I cannot.
You did not.
So I was like, I want to do a Time Lord. I want to do something I know. And I'm so glad no one else did that. Everyone else went aliens or some sort of villain. Yeah. So I'm glad I was distinct in that. But
I was gutted that Zahira didn't, because I know Zahira is a massive Doctor Who fan.
Yes.
Zahira didn't get to walk that runway. But
yes. Yeah. Oh, bless her.
Yeah. But I will say, I'm going to defend Octavia, actually, because everyone hated, the
pot noodle.
Michelle was hating on the pot noodle, but instantly I was like, it's a Weeping Angels reference. That hair has to be made of stone.
It does. It did sort of give that. I said she was a Brussels sprout at the hairdressers, but that's just me.
Scary, but that could be in Doctor Who.
I do think she looked really cool. I
thought it was, I would have liked, I think she was wearing a white tight. I would have liked a little of the mottled green down the leg.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I see.
She was either wearing a white tight or she is very pale naturally and was bare-legged.
I think maybe it was nude. I can't remember.
Her nude to me is a white tight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who offended you? Go.
Who offended? I
Give
think
me one. Go on.
Because I'm very serious about Doctor Who, the silly ones were upsetting to me. I was like, I don't like this milky titty situation. That's very rude and not very Doctor Who. So I was upset about that. I'm not going to lie. I was like, Lavoie, take it seriously. We don't play around with Doctor Who in my household. She's not in my household, so she can do what she wants. But I was like, that's not for me.
I see. I mean, my goal was to be like, I want something that could go on the screen.
Yeah,
that
you had.
Be worn. And I think I was the one in that regard.
Very much screen ready. I didn't like the finger/dog erections, but I do think Chanel O'Connor gave me...
It was a reference.
I looked and I was like, I know the reference immediately.
Yeah.
So I'll defend her. I think maybe we shouldn't have done the pink face, the pink finger, but I like the armour. It was giving very Sontaran, Sontar.
I like the idea of the arms of it. I could see she was like, how do I push it further, which I appreciate.
And Lil, I think, did a very original interpretation of the Slitheenes unzipping themselves. Yes, I loved it.
So cool.
Oh, it was so good. Oh, do you know what? I take it back. I thought it was a great runway. I think everyone did really well.
I thought I'd have like absolutely no competition on the runways. And I don't, but everyone does really well each way.
I think, honestly, for that runway, you and Lil, far and away, were the best ones.
Kyron came up to me in my outfit this episode and goes, wow, you're my competition from the runways. And I went, wow, you're not mine. And I wasn't joking. She's doing well enough, I can say that. She's doing well enough.
She's got 28 badges in 2 episodes. So, like, she's fine. I think for that runway, you and Lil did win it for me. Kyron was probably third, but with...
It was very cool.
A big break in between.
It was very cool.
Anyway, end of the episode.
End of the episode.
Let's look at the time. I must get a guest on. What scene are we doing? Today, I think producer Poppy's had a lot of airtime. Baby J, what are we doing this week? You can pop your face in. You can be seen. But Baby J, no, come to the microphone.
We are doing the Hunger Games reaping scene.
Is this the actual one?
This is the reaping. I'm guessing you want to be Effie.
I could quite literally be every single character.
Okay, I'd like to be one of them. So,
you could. Do you want to go get changed? Like,
I feel like I'm giving like little reaping diva realness.
You're going to turn back to me, and I'm going to be in the pink outfit with like the headpiece, the full Effie look, the full makeup, and I'm just be like,
honestly, Richard in the edit could probably whack on a pink wig.
When did you get changed? I just had this underneath.
This was here the whole time. Right, let's do the scene. You're Effie. I am Prim! I'm Katniss. And you are, Baby J is Primrose Everdeen. And scene.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Now,
you are not looking at the script.
The time has come for us to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Hunger Games. I forgot it, I'm an awful, awful fan. As usual, ladies first.
Effie moves over to the pool of names and draws a piece of paper. She goes back to the microphone and opens it.
Primrose Everdeen.
That was good.
Where are you, dear? Come on up. Well, come on up.
I am not emotionally prepared to do this Jennifer Lawrence moment. Prim! Prim! No, I volunteer as tribute.
Which is so funny, this next line. Always makes me laugh. I believe we have a volunteer.
As if it wasn't clear.
Mr. Mayor.
Prim! You need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. Yeah, it's you. You scream no. No, Prim! No, go find Mom! Prim, leave! Go find Mom!
No!
A dramatic turn of events here in District 12. Yes, well, District 12's very first volunteer. Coming up, dear. What's your name?
Katniss Everdeen?
Well, I bet my hat that was your sister, wasn't it?
Yes.
Let's have a big round of applause for our very first volunteer, Katniss Everdeen.
Thanks, girls.
And they all do this.
Honestly.
That's actually pathetic how much I knew that.
That was pretty iconic.
If you watch the film back, my intonations were spot on. I know how she says all those lines.
We should do a side-by-side TikTok.
This scene, I don't know how you knew. This scene specifically, doing I think it was like me always wanting to do drag. I was like, I would like watch and practice the voice.
Honestly, I can kind of see, now you think about it, like the heavy blush, the pale, you are
it is
heavily inspired by Effie Trinket.
Like her today, yeah.
By coincidence, you're basically giving
full on accident.
Effie Trinket, but she's dancing around a maypole in Wales.
Yeah, absolutely. That was so fun.
That was fun. We were given the option to end scene or continue. I kind of want to see you do the last bit, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Oh, I remember exactly how she says all of this.
She doesn't need the script.
And now for the boys. And that is exactly how she says it. Peter Malark. And she says it weirdly like that. This is so sad.
No, I love it.
Here we are, our tributes from District 12. Well, come on, you two, shake hands. And then this is so like haunting because there's a shot and it's like an upshot of Katniss looking out and you just hear Effie going, Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor. And it fades out. and then it's like boom, and it's now they're in the room in the building waiting to see their families before they get on the train. I am actually quite disgusted by how much I knew that.
No, I loved it. Marmalade, that's all we've got time for on this week's episode of The Final Frontier. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. Thank you for letting me just talk Hunger Games at you.
No, I loved it because I really do love the Hunger Games, so I really appreciated it. What have you got coming up? Let the people know what's going on. Where can we find you? What are you doing?
Well, first of all, I don't know when you're watching this, but if you're still watching this and I'm still on the telly somehow, then tune in still to watch Drag Race, which I still may or may not be a part of, depending on when you're watching it. And if or if not, I'm still there. What have I got coming up? Oh my God, that was it. Dracula's Child is going on tour next year.
Love.
The girl group, so please get your tickets. I think we might be adding more dates. I'm not sure. We're filling it out, but so far I think a couple more dates are coming. But I'm going to be in Cardiff, which I'm really excited about. So if you're going to be in Cardiff, please come and buy tickets so that you all cheer for me and none of those other honks. And I say honks with all the love in the world.
I do love that song, I'm not going to lie.
It's a good song.
This is the first, well, I'm lying because Don't Ink My Yum. And also, to be fair, The Frock Destroyers.
Don't Ick My Yum.
Those three, I listen to unironically. Anyway, love your hair, hope you win.
Thank you.
If you're still in, who knows?
I'm still in, who knows? I mean, I know. But we'll have to see. So yes, tune in and Team Marmalade, please, as always.
Team Marmalade forever. Marmalade, thank you for joining me and thank you for watching and listening to another episode of The Final Frontier. May the odds be ever in your favor.